Hey there, everybody. Welcome into episode 10 of Let's Talk About, with today's topic being my latest retro handheld acquisition, the AYN Thor. Now, before I get to the Thor itself, a couple of things I need to address here quickly. I know I said in a recent Sky SC video that I would be talking about Trails Beyond the Horizon for the next episode of this. That's being pushed back a week because I'm not quite ready for it yet. I still have some thoughts I need to gather up and actually kind of make a sort of script for that. Because I have a lot of things to say about the entire game that I will have compiled in a little notepad document for my reference while I'm recording. And also, kind of a lesser thing, but still a key point. The game is still pretty fresh, hasn't even been out a month yet. Or, yeah, it hasn't even been a month. So I'm trying to wait for a little more time to pass for people to beat the game and such, because there will be spoilers aplenty in that video. I will, of course, mention that again at the start of the video to reiterate that point, but really just giving it more time to cook, and myself to cook there too, get all my ideas hashed out as I need to for that video, because that'll be a long one, I'm sure. Second point, I'm sure you guys already can tell I sound congested. I think I'm getting a little bit sick, unfortunately. I'm feeling okay for right now, so I at least wanted to get this video out for today. But there probably won't be a Sky SC video for Monday. Kind of playing that by ear. I'll see how I feel tomorrow, and if I'm feeling okay enough, I'll record it. But otherwise, I will skip Monday and just go right to Wednesday. Then, just to give you guys a little preemptive heads up there. So, the AYN Thor, going back to this here, is a new retro handheld from the company AYN. One of nowadays many that are out there, dual screen Android handhelds. There's 4 different models here available that I'll go over here in a sec, and also all the specs here as well. I finally got this thing for a little personal backstory. I ordered this myself back in December 23rd of last year. It was part of their batch 2 pre-orders. They had a first batch go out sometime before then until they were out, and they got some more shipments ready. So mine didn't actually ship out until January 27th, and it was actually supposed to be in originally just this past Friday. But I was following the tracking with my shop app I have. That's also what they suggest to use too. It was moved up to Thursday initially, but then moved up again to Wednesday. So it only took 8 days to arrive from China to the United States, which is crazy in multiple ways, especially considering, excuse me, I use their standard shipping, which is 4PX. They have that, and DHL, which is the more expensive and usually faster shipping method. Which, yeah, the 4PX takes, it says normally 15 to 20 days. So the fact that mine got here in half that time is bonkers. And I'm also, in a way, I'm glad I went with this. Well, not in a way. I am glad I went with this method, because apparently a lot of people I've seen, both in the AYN Discord and also the several Facebook groups I'm in, have had theirs actually be like resent back, or like just not being sent to them at all through DHL. There's been whole lots of hoops to jump through there, and also like being stuck in customs for days and weeks on end. People have to like call the number and tell them like, hey, this isn't, as like just to verify I bought this, it's legit, or whatever. Just a whole lot of headaches to go through in that regard. So I kind of dodged a bullet there with just using the standard method there. This thing I have not been able to put down since I got it. The very first time when I opened it, I also got this, and it also comes with a plasticky TPU grip, which I'll show off in the video here too. There's also whole sorts of accessories and such on the page here. I'll scroll down as we go, because there's a lot to show off here. So yeah, I got the TPU grip for added comfortability. I haven't been using it that much, at least as of right now. It is very comfortable to use, but me personally, I've been using the Thor without the grip, and it's been totally fine. If you're thinking that, oh, hey, this looks like a DS or 3DS, it absolutely does. And thankfully is able to emulate both DS and 3DS games incredibly well, and upscale resolution at that. So this thing is a DS/3DS on steroids. I got mine set up. Took me a decent while to get set up. But for me, that's part of the fun with these handhelds is like getting all your games downloaded, all the emulators you want downloaded, getting all that set up there, getting the cool front end set up. I have what's called Show, which essentially kind of wraps up all my games together. You can separate by systems there. You can direct the folders in there, or direct each page there to find your games folder there. So like DS games, PSP, 3DS, etc. You can also download cool wallpapers for each system, and then tie it to which emulator you want to record on, not record, you want to play off of. So it's a really neat little thing to kind of compile everything together. There's other options out there. A popular one also is called Emulation Station Desktop Edition. That has some more bells and whistles to it that I haven't tried out myself yet. I've been using Show since the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus from a couple years back, and that still works plenty well enough for me. I don't need anything super fancy there anyway. But yeah, getting Google Chrome set up, Android games downloaded, all that stuff there. It took a while, to be sure. Also, RetroArch, which is what I use for a lot of the older systems there, like Super Nintendo, Game Boy Advance. That's a whole other beast right there to get set up. But once it was all good to go, this thing, I just cannot put it down. Because, for one thing, it plays like everything Android can handle. PS1, PS2, GameCube, Wii U, even Switch emulation. It can do PC streaming, native PC games with those new apps, Game Hub, Game Native, Game Hub Lite. Obviously, older stuff, Super Nintendo, and all that stuff. The chip this has, and actually, I'll get to that here in a sec. Basically, whatever Android can play, if there's an app for it, the Thor can play it. It has a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip in it, which is a little bit of an older-ish chip, a couple years tops, but is an incredibly reliable chip that pretty much can play anything you throw at it. We've seen that in their other Odin devices, the Odin 2, the Odin 2 Portal, and the Odin 2 Mini, and that whole line there. It's been in other handhelds as well. It's just an incredibly reliable and powerful chip. So I am super glad that the Thor has that. Now, for its specs here and all that, there's also different models here, as you can see. The light model here actually comes with the Snapdragon 865 chip, which is still a pretty powerful chip, not as powerful as the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. This was a chip that was in the Retroid Pocket 5, which is still a plenty powerful chip, like I said. It can still emulate pretty much every GameCube and PS2 game out there upscaled. Can still do like Nintendo Wii stuff and Wii U and some lighter Switch games, but not quite as many as the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 can. Then it comes with the 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs internal storage, and then the base, Pro, and Max all come with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, 8 gigs of RAM, and 128 gigs of storage, 12 gigs of RAM, and 16 gigs of RAM. I went the full Monty and got the Max model. Really, because it was a splurge gift for myself, so I was like, why the hell not? I do also have a 512 gig SD card that I'm using that has all my games and such on it. The 1 terabyte storage there is really for the PC games because those the other PC apps, Game Hub, Game Native, and Game Hub Lite, for those games to work properly, they need to be downloaded onto the actual internal storage and not the SD card. It won't work otherwise there. That's also kind of why I went that route there, just for peace of mind there, really. And also the 16 gigs of RAM is nice there, just to make sure I can play the really high-end stuff whenever I want. It did cost a lot, I will say. Right now, yeah, it's $449. I did also get their worry-free guarantee thingy for like $9 more on top of shipping, so it came out to almost $500. But really, if you buy the Thor, it's pretty much an endgame handheld, honestly. And in my case, you guys know I already have a ton of handhelds around anyway. And especially my ROG Ally adds my handheld PC there. Really, those two handhelds are kind of all I need. But also, you guys know that I love collecting these things. I have slowed down on that, I will say, but it is still fun to see how many of these things come out so frequently, what all they can do, what price points they have, what operating system they have. Um, the competition there is also cool because it drives other companies to make a similar product and try to compete price point wise to like offer better product for cheaper, and that in turn comes back towards the consumers that get a better deal, getting a really powerful handheld for a really good price. Because it can be kind of hard to keep up on these things sometimes with how frequently they come out. And I've had my eyes on the Thor since it launched day one. So I am so glad I finally got my hands on one. Anyway, it does come in 4 different colors here as well. But real quick, let me show off just the price here. If anyone would ever happen to want to buy one of these, they are in a batch 3 pre-order here, so they actually won't even be shipping until I want to say sometime in March. Because as of right now, they're working on the batch 2 pre-orders still. They want to get those all out before the Chinese New Year, which is next week, I believe, or a week plus ahead. It's on the 17th, I want to say. It starts and goes for about 2 weeks. So the remainder of February. So it would be early March that they would be doing batch 3 there. So it would be a little bit of time if you pre-order one now, just to clarify on that. Excuse me. It comes in 4 different colorways here. The black, which is what I got here, which looks incredibly sleek and like super premium and all that. Especially with the dual OLED screens there, which, by the way, top screen there is 6 inches 1080p OLED, 120 hertz panel, and the bottom screen is, I believe, 3.92 inches, also 1080p OLED, but only a 60 hertz display. Then there's the white model there with the gray analog sticks, which also, by the way, are Hall sensor sticks, which means that they are much less prone to the dreaded stick drift that other analog sticks tend to have after a while. Very popular model here, which is what they call the rainbow, because it has the blue, green, yellow, and red face buttons there for A, B, X, and Y. People have been buying that one up like crazy, and I myself was torn between either that model or the black. So what I actually did before I bought it, because I couldn't decide myself, I just flipped a coin. And I think it was heads was black and tails was rainbow, and heads won, so I got the black, which I absolutely love. Now, if I got the rainbow one, I would love it there too, of course, because it reminds me of a Super Nintendo with the kind of gray, mostly gray panel there and such, along with the rainbow style buttons there. And then here's the other clear purple model as well. This one, I personally don't vibe with as much. It is super cool, though. Of course, it is a throwback to like the cool like early 2000s, like clear plastic tech we'd have and such there. So of course, lots to choose from there as well. And then, there's a whole bunch of spec sheets on here as well that I'll be gradually going over as we go along. Dual OLED screens. There's the specs there for the top screen. I've been loving the 120 hertz refresh rate, although I haven't been using it as much. I more so keep it at 60 for right now to conserve battery life. But there is a cool thing you can do in RetroArch there, what's called black frame insertion with 120 hertz displays and such, where it essentially inserts a black frame like in between frames as you're playing, let's say, an old Super Nintendo game to give you like a lot better motion clarity and such. There's a whole bunch of videos that further go into the topic. It's a really cool thing to have. It also helps, of course, for PC streaming there as well, because these things are powerful enough to handle that easily. And also the games look incredible on the OLED screens here. And there's a bottom screen specs there as well. And it has I think there's an all-glass front, I want to say. With the black in particular, if you have something on the top screen, say you're playing a game or whatever, and then using the bottom screen for like a walkthrough or something else there, it just blends in so seamlessly to the rest of the handheld itself. It just looks so sleek. I just absolutely love it. That's kind of the reason why I was leaning towards the black model there anyway. It's kind of a little bit ahead of the rainbow, but I still, again, couldn't decide between either one initially. Also cool here, they have their own AYN software here. So on the bottom of the handheld, right below the bottom screen, they have just the AYN button you're able to press there. So you can have you can change up those settings here for the top screen and bottom screen's brightness at the same time. Same with the volume. You can change up the fan speed settings from a quiet setting to a smart setting, so that it knows like when to come on its own if it needs to. Say that you're playing like a really demanding system or whatever. Shows you the FPS counter, temperatures, fan speeds, and all that. They're just a super handy thing to have. So like if you're playing something on the top screen only and don't need the bottom screen for anything at the moment, you can just pull that up just for reference there. So kind of a peace of mind sort of thing there too, which is super handy. People have been raving about here the multitasking capabilities. So yeah, you can play. Of course, in the picture here, they're watching a video up top on YouTube while also playing a game at the bottom at the same time. Now, you were able to do this on the Retroid Pocket 5's dual screen attachments. That thing was kind of janky to use, though, and had a really annoying cable to deal with. It was just a big, blocky, clunky setup there. This way, it's just so much more seamless. So the way I've been using this a lot lately, if I'm not playing a DS or 3DS game, say I'm playing like a PSP game or a PS2 game or whatever up top, I'll just pull up a random YouTube video down below or like a stream or whatever, just have that playing, and then top screen it can be whatever RPG, whatever game I want, and at the same time there is incredibly fantastic. This thing's plenty powerful enough to handle both tasks with ease. It also has the 6,000 hour milliamp battery, which means it has a pretty lengthy battery too. And you're able to play this thing pretty much all day if you're playing lighter end stuff. But also you're still able to get like a plenty, like hefty amount of hours on the high end stuff there too. And yeah, balance we have between weight, portability, performance, battery life. Yeah, this thing, when it folds down, it's relatively heavy. It was heavier than I was expecting it to be honest. But it's still very comfortable to hold, and it fits in my pockets extremely easily. So that is, of course, makes it very, very pocketable. Yeah, active cooling there, Type-C port, so it can also do video out. Now, with my setup I currently have here, I would have loved to actually record gameplay off of it, but I can't at the moment. My TV doesn't have a USB out or USB-C display port, I don't think. But I think we have some spare monitors around that do. So I might actually swap from my TV to the better monitor there, and then see. Because if I could actually record gameplay right off of the Thor for a video, I will happily do that. Yeah, there's also the reinforced hinge. Now, the other handhelds in the past have been known to have hinge issues. The Miu Flip, for example, had a lot of hinge issues, as I recall. Thankfully, I got a version 2 model of that, and it did not have that issue. But I have seen a lot of people having the hinge cracking in certain places there. So, yeah, it's nice to see that this has not been an issue for the Thor so far. And yeah, there's the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip here, which also it can let you dual boot into Linux. So that can actually let you do PS3 emulation, which is just bonkers to think about on a handheld like this. Now, I believe there is also a native PS3 Android app. I'm pretty sure it's still in kind of its infancy stage. But even still, I've seen people getting games to run on these things pretty well. Yeah, there's some more stat specs here and such. Yeah, there's the, of course, the light model, the 865 chip, which is still a really, really good chip in and of itself. A lot of handhelds out there have been using that chip, like the Retroid Pocket 5, which is an incredibly awesome handheld. I have one myself. Black as well because it's sleek as hell. And then, yeah, just some scores here and such for the single core, multi-core. These I don't care about that much. I mean, I already know that the 8 Gen 2 is a way better chip than the 865. But for people out there that might not be familiar with this, it's good that they show this right on here anyway. Yeah, this thing can just be so easily just closed shut and go in your pocket into a bag or whatever, of course, like they're showing here. They do also make a case for it there, too, which I do not have. I wouldn't have minded getting that, but really, whenever I go out and want to bring it with me, I would just put it in my Club Penny Arcade tote bag. Just toss it right in there, and it's good to go. And yeah, there's some more color variants there. But also, yeah, this stuff on the right side here, it wasn't scrolling down before. It only took me till this point that it would start scrolling down. But yeah, there's summarized stat info here, what you're getting with each model there. Yeah, there's the batch 3 shipping starts in March. Um, and here's the full accessories pack, which comes with everything down below. The carrying case, which is only 12 bucks. Okay, maybe I should have got that. But yeah, this is what I got the TPU grip there. It just slides right into the bottom part of the of the Thor. This gives you um, a lot more comfort for your hands. There are a lot bigger grips to grip onto and such. There's also a TPU shell that goes over the whole thing. A little carrying pouch for there too, and a lanyard. I'm not sure who would really use that. Although the DS and 3DS had a lanyard slot too, I'm pretty sure. So there you go. And then screen protectors. So yeah, a lot of cool things there if you want that. Um, yeah, if you know the full Monty, just get the accessories pack because that would give you everything for, I'm sure, cheaper than buying the things individually. Um, and also just they're already here. The AYN Odin 3, the Odin 2 base, which by the way, they're actually discontinuing the Odin 2, I'm pretty sure. Um, but I will say the Odin 2 portal, I'm getting sidetracked here, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention this here. The Odin 2 portal, even the base model right here, is an incredibly good deal. You're still getting the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip that the Thor has. 7-inch display, OLED, 120 hertz panel. The base model, as I believe, 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of internal storage. But of course, all these things have micro SD card slots to expand your storage. So, like, for most people getting into the hobby that want a really powerful handheld, this deal is unbeatable, honestly, because the Portal is an incredible handheld. I don't have one actually, and I would be lying if I said I didn't want one like right now, because this thing is just an absolute beast for what it can do. The same chip as the Thor, so anything they can do the same thing, of course, which is damn near everything. Um, yeah, just showing that off here real quick. But I know, yeah, I'm getting sidetracked here. This video is about the Thor, not the Portal. But also, yeah, if you want to get the Portal too, because it's awesome. What else is there to go over? I know I haven't even fully tapped into the potential of the Thor yet. I've only had mine for not even a week, actually. When this goes up, it'll of course be Sunday, so yeah, not even a full week. And I've been playing it every single day since I got it. As of right now, I'm trying to actually use it to tackle my DS and 3DS library. I have a ton of games in those libraries to go through. I made a bunch of Pokemon randomizer seeds for the DS. I did a bunch for Pokemon Heart Gold, Platinum, uh, Black and White 1, and Black and White 2. I think I just used Pokemon Black 1 and 2 for the base there. I did a 30 seeds each, so that's 120 files right there to work through at my leisure. But I also have stuff like Chrono Trigger, the Dragon Quest games, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance A2, or just Advance 2. You know what I mean. Um, Radiant Historia, which actually I have beaten all of those before. I haven't beaten Dragon Quest V yet though, actually, so I can work on that. But really, the 3DS is where I have a lot of games in my backlog. There are all the Mario games, Dragon Quest 7 and 8. I know I haven't beaten either of those. I'm ashamed to say that, but that's why I have them there. I can play with them with Fast Forward. I can use cheats on my emulator there. I have Azahar for 3DS and Melon DS for DS there. Pretty easy to set up. Just had to configure the screens there a little bit in the app to have them display properly, and they were good to go. Everything I've done on the Thor just looks incredibly gorgeous. These OLED screens are just to die for, honestly. Even just watching a simple YouTube video, it looks incredible. I've also been playing Final Fantasy IV, the PSP version, on the side. And yeah, the game was amazing as is, and it came out like 1,000 years ago. On the OLED panel up top, it just is insane. Absolutely insane. What else to go over? I already went over all the specs and such, the prices. That's pretty much everything, really. Yeah, this thing, again, I have not been able to put it down. If you're in the market for any of these handhelds, like in general, if you've heard about the hobby and you're like, okay, these sound cool. Where can I get one, or how do I get into this, or what's the best one to get? The Thor is probably, not probably, is one of the best to get, like, period. Because we're almost kind of getting to a point where it's like, what more can these handhelds do that hasn't already been done? Like, there are better chips out there, technically, than the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. There's like the Gen 3 X line, or the Snapdragon 8 Elite, or the Gen 3 models there as well. There's a couple out there. But the thing is, though, they're not really as widely compatible as the 8 Gen 2 is. But really, the 8 Gen 2 can pretty much already play everything that the higher up ones could. Like the Odin 3, I believe, has a better chip. Actually, while it's on my mind, I will just check here real quick. Just want to find. Oh yeah, the Qualcomm, yeah, the 8 Elite. So yeah, I mean, yeah, that is more powerful. It's showing off the specs here and such over the 8 Gen 2. Which, I mean, yeah, it's more powerful, sure, but like, the 8 Gen 2 is already plenty powerful as is. And I mean, at this point, you just need a handheld PC to play anything else that's really more high end that these things can already do anyway. So yeah, I can pretty confidently say that the Thor is an end game handheld. Like, if you buy this thing, it's one and done. Especially if you already have a PC to handle that sort of thing there, the Thor can do everything else beneath that there, which is incredible to think about. And yeah, this thing is incredible for DS and 3DS games as well, having the actual true dual screens there. Because yeah, like I said before, the Retroid Pocket 5 dual screen attachment is kind of janky. But yeah, if you're new to the hobby, I would still say, like, it's a 50, well, it was on sale before, or I thought the base was on sale there too, but either way, I would still suggest, if you're looking at buying the Thor here, let's say, I would say at least get the base model here, because that'll still cover like everything you need, and the difference in power and performance and everything from the Lite to the base model here is absolutely worth $60. I can confidently say that much. Now, I will say, of course, too, on the other end, if your budget is a little more or a little less than the base one here, then definitely you cannot go wrong with a Lite there as well. The 865 is still a very, very good chip, and you cannot go wrong with that. If budget is a problem, just to be fully transparent on that. But if you have a little more wiggle room, then I would say definitely at least get the base model here. Now, of course, if you're able to go more, then the Pro is obviously another $60 more, but you get a lot more RAM and storage out of that. Or if you really want to go, like, if you really want to get into, like, PC gaming with Game Hub and all those there, and also the really high-end emulation, then yeah, definitely get the Max model here. Again, I went for the Max because I wanted the extra RAM and also the internal storage for peace of mind. But really, also, if you just get the base and just buy an SD card, you're good to go. Just SD cards are super, super cheap. You really would only need like a 256 gig size one, and those are like, what, $20? So that's just my personal opinion there. Obviously, whatever works for you, whatever is best for your budget, that's the way to go. I'm just one person on the internet, so. But also pick the black model, it's the coolest. But also, again, you can't go wrong with any color model here. The Thor is just, it's an all-around amazing handheld. I really can't think of anything wrong with it already. I mean, also, I know I'm like a little early to say that. Probably I haven't even had it for a full week yet, but like, this thing can just do everything, and it does it incredibly well. With all that said, guys, I think I am done rambling about the Thor, at least for now. I will be probably playing it here a little bit more before I go to bed, because I just can't help myself. And yeah, I think that'll be that. With all that said, again, guys, have a great day, and thanks for watching.